The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 189.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today I have a special lady on. She is a office worker by day and a yoga teacher by night. And, I'm just really honored to have her on here and share her story about self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Veronica Thai. Veronica, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored that you asked me. So for short, yes, I'm an office worker by day and yoga teacher by night. My career background is a little bit eclectic. On the one hand, I'm this office worker, primmed and primed in my blazer and dress pants, which I love, by the way, because I feel like sometimes I look boss. But then I'm this free bird on the other side of life. Free bird that wants nothing more than to frolic around this world doing as I wish. And I think over the years, if you've looked at my career profile, they're beginning to meld together. So in my university years, not only was I working on my degree, but I worked on getting my makeup artist certificate. And so while I was in university, I worked in retail, and then I eventually was able to branch out for a complete year, being my own entrepreneurial self, being a makeup artist for weddings and living off of that. Now I'm in human resources, spent the last 4 or 5 years doing that. And then it hit me once again, that kind of free bird need. And that's when I became a yoga teacher. That's absolutely what I'm pursuing right now. And that's absolutely what I'm in love with.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love that, you're not letting, your office job stopping you from what you truly love, because there's most people out there who feel like, well, I work 9 to 5. I can't do anything else. I'm too tired to do what I love. You're out there doing it regardless. And, that's the greatest thing, right? It's up to you to decide what you want to do, whether it's to, work at a job, whether it's to be a yoga teacher. It's your life, and do what makes you happy and what makes you free. So thanks for sharing that. And Veronica, what's your cultural background?
I'm a Canadian-born Chinese. So my parents are actually from Vietnam. And so there's quite a bit of Vietnamese heritage, but their nationality itself is Chinese. And then me, I'm full Canadian. I was born in a small town called Red Deer.
Thanks for sharing that. To be honest, I didn't think there was any Asians in Red Deer.
Yeah, that's me. And my cousins, actually.
Yeah, and I can understand that because, I'm pure Chinese, but all our family was born and raised in the Philippines. So, Chinese people are just everywhere. And
yeah, it's a meld.
Yeah, pretty much. And, Veronica, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Oh, I had it prepared, and I just listened to the last podcast you did with Christina, and I have to echo that. It's whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. It's by Henry Ford, and I think in those short few words, it sums it up. It's all about you and how much you believe in yourself. But since Christina covered that, I've come up with another quote for everybody, and it's, I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. That one's by Mark Twain. I think it brings some lightheartedness into our reality, especially when we're taking ourselves so seriously. So many times we worry and we fear and we think about what the worst possible thing is that can happen. But at the end of the day, when it does happen, it's not that bad.
I love it. And, I love that quote because we do fear like the worst, right? Like the worst possible thing that could ever happen. And, sometimes when we actually go into that situation, it's not as bad as we think.
You bet. We underestimate our abilities by far.
Yeah, especially being raised in an Asian culture, being taught to just do one thing, follow the route that you're supposed to go to. It challenges us, right? Because it's something we've never been through before. It's like, I have to make my own decisions. I got to figure out if what I'm making is right or wrong for me. And that's something that, most Asian women probably go through because it's something that's out of the norm for them as well. And it's something that they have to start getting used to. And, a lot of people feel like they're the only ones who feel this way when there's so many women out there who feel exactly how you feel or who feel, exactly whoever's listening to this. So great quote. And, what would be your definition of self-confidence?
For me, self-confidence is love for yourself. When you truly like yourself and accept everything that you are, imperfections included, you become unshakable. You walk through this world with fortitude, regardless of the external circumstances, because you understand that peace is within yourself and nobody can take that away. So fortitude, that means bravery, courage, and you walk with this air so that most people will end up following you and supporting you in everything that you do.
I love it. Great definition. And that's something I've been learning to love myself, including all my flaws, because as women, we love to just like nitpick every single thing that's wrong with us, right? We're totally our own worst enemy. And, now I've been learning to say, you know what? If you have a bad hair day, love yourself anyway. It's not a big deal. I still love me regardless if I have a bad hair day or I screwed up on an email, it's still me and I love myself, flaws and all. So I love the definition that you have. And I think it's something that we have to bring aware as women. We have to love ourselves and everything about us because it's what makes us unique and authentic. So great definition. And, Veronica, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
It's been a journey, but if I were to sum it up, I had so much anxiety and stress, and I was living in limbo where I wasn't depressed or unhappy, but I certainly wasn't living with a great amount of joy in my life. I was listening to one of your podcasts, and someone said that it felt like they were suffocating, and that's exactly how I felt. I spent my days worrying about the next step, feeling like a failure because, I was never good enough, especially compared to the next person. I was seeking validation through external means. And for me, it was actually academics. I'm such a nerd. I loved the feeling of hitting that 90%, that 95%. And this whole time I was trying to be perfect, the perfect everything to everybody. Even the cashier at the grocery store, I did not want to step on anybody's toes and I did not want to displease everyone. I ended up being a collection of opinions that people had of me and I really couldn't hear myself.
I think that's something we all go through, right? The need to please our parents, the need to be perfect in front of everyone and, worried about what other people think of us because, it's just something we've been ingrained all our lives, right? You go out there, you got to be the perfect daughter, you got to be the perfect sister, got to have perfect grades so that we don't shame our family. And, that takes a toll on a lot of us, right? Because it's like, we're never going to be enough. We always got to keep on pushing. Whatever we do, it's just, we have to keep on doing more and more and more when you realize, we're more than enough. What was that aha moment in your life when you realized like you didn't have to live by other people's opinions. You didn't have to like feel that need to please your parents or go through those external means. What was that point in your life?
So to add to what you were saying before, because I absolutely relate to it, I was living like that without knowing that I lived like that because that's all I knew, to be the perfect daughter, to be able to make your parents proud, to not embarrass the family so they don't lose face. I didn't know anything but. And then the glass started to shatter. But my aha moment actually unraveled a little bit at a time. There were several instances when I looked back at some work that I did and amazed myself at what an awesome job I did. The funny thing is though, when I look back, at that time that I was doing the work, so whether it be, let's say when I was a makeup artist doing makeup, I didn't think I was good enough. Like I thought I was good, obviously because people were paying me, but I didn't think I was that good. I look back on some of the photo shoots that I did and I was like, wow, I could have really done some great work. Even schoolwork, some of the projects that I did, I didn't really take it seriously because I didn't take myself seriously. I was young. It's just a marketing project. No problem. It's not like this is going to get anywhere. I look back and I was like, wow, if I were in my job right now, I would use that material. So the funny thing is, when I looked back, I didn't think I was doing a good job. And each time I had these revelations of, wow, that was actually really good. I felt like I had to tell the world how awesome I was. Kind of like, see, look, I did a great job, didn't I? Like as if the world had slighted me for some reason and now I had living proof that I wasn't a failure. Then one time, it just dawned on me. I was like, oh my goodness, it's me. It's absolutely me. I was the one who didn't believe in myself, and I'm the one who immersed myself in all these negative perceptions. And we did talk about intentions, Sheena, about growing up and being pushed further, always having to be faster, stronger, better. I thought that was a good thing. I thought it was a great thing that I was pushing myself. But looking back, I think it affected my self-worth. There, at that moment when the glass shattered, the lessons started tumbling in. All the books I read, the yoga that I did, doing yoga teacher training, and all the new people. For me, my lesson was self-love. And like I said, sometimes we push ourselves so hard and we beat ourselves up so brutally. We grip onto success with a death grip. And that's exactly what I was doing. And just like the story of the monkey who put his fist in a jar of jelly beans and couldn't get it out, all he had to do was let go. And so sometimes all we need to do is just let go.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. And, it's true, right? Sometimes we just got to learn to let go of the things that, especially the things that we can't control, people will always, there's always someone out there who's not going to like or agree what we do. There's going to be instances in our life where things just happen and you can't explain it, but you just go with it anyways because it's going to take you to, a path where it's that time, it's your purpose to go out there and live life to the fullest. And, when you realize that you don't need those external forces to tell yourself how awesome you are because, we're all awesome in our own way and we're more than enough to realize that. After all these aha moments, what's your life been like now?
It has been better, way better. So after becoming aware that I had a death grip on my future, I learned to let go. Somewhat. It's still a journey. But that newfound freedom gave me room to understand myself with so much more clarity. I can't even describe. I felt what peace within truly felt like. Peace within myself. And for me, it was like as if 1,000 tons of bricks had simply been lifted off my shoulders. Because all this time, I was collecting thoughts from others. I should be this, I should be that, my hair should be this color, my hair should be that color, I should be taller, I should be shorter, I don't know. And for the first time, after that awareness, and after developing that self-love, I felt free, relaxed, and able to just be. I don't live like that all the time, but I do get a lot more instances of this freedom and this peacefulness than I did before.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think the word should be taken out. The word should must be taken out of our vocabulary, and they have that term, you should all over yourself.
Yeah.
Right? I used to be the same.
I love that.
I used to be the same. It's like, oh, I should be better. I should be smarter. I should be this. I should be that. And it's like, really, it just does not serve us. I always tell myself, I am more than enough to live my dream. And whoever's listening to this, it's the same. You are more than enough to go out there and be the person that you want to be. And sometimes it's going to take, not listening to what your parents are telling you or what society tells you what you should do. It's what you want to do, what feels good in your heart, and just go out there and live it. You have one life to live. Life is so short. You never know what's going to happen. So
exactly that quote, whether you can or you can't, you're right. And then followed by, I've gone through some terrible things in my life and I've actually lived through some of them. So it's never as bad as you think.
Yeah. And you know what? We got to be thankful for those bad times because that's when we become stronger and actually see that light at the, end of that dark tunnel. So Veronica, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
This one was a hard one because I feel like I have so much to share. I've learned so much along the way, but the top ones that I'd like to share. Number one, you're amazing and you're perfect just as you are right now. Be gentle with yourself and love yourself with the tenderness that you would with a child. So I heard that so many times. You're amazing and you're perfect. And it took me a very long time to believe it. So let those words sink in and let those words be true to you. There's something that I do, and it's called compassion meditation. And that's when you sit and you take someone in mind, whether it be yourself, if you're the one who needs healing, or somebody else, a loved one, an acquaintance, and you wish them the best, and you wish them happiness, and you wish them love. Some people, believe it or not, can't even give that to themselves. They can't imagine themselves in that position, giving them permission to feel loved, giving them permission to feel accepted. And so what I say, the best advice I had was, if you can't think of yourself right now and give yourself that permission because you don't think you deserve it, then imagine yourself as a child. And then try to hold yourself in that space as your child self. There's a lot more tenderness that goes in.
Those are some great tips that you mentioned, and it's true. Loving yourself as a child, it makes a huge difference, right? Talking to yourself as a child, saying, it's okay. It's okay with who you are and what we have. We can do it. We can make it. We can do whatever it takes to live our life to the fullest. So thanks so much for sharing those tips. And Veronica, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
You bet. So you can find me and connect with me on veronicathai.com. And my last name is spelled like Thailand, Thai. That's my yoga website. I'll be shortly filling it in with some blogs and with some tips.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to check that out. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Veronica, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Veronica's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really want to thank Veronica for taking the time to share her story and tips with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sheena.
No problem. It was an honor to have you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Subscribe to the Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes and Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.